GUGA gave me I grabbed the torch gun from him.
You make sous vide steak, it's gonna be great every single time. I say enough talking, let's go for the second one. As you can see, the second one has to do something special. Please dig in.
I still think about it.
Make sure you got that specialness.
I think we like to say, was it a crumbly crust?
I have no idea what they were referring to. I was just quiet. And yeah, you see how excited? Chef Brian Tsao here, not your typical chef, owner of Mission Sandwich Social, located right here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, winner of Beat Bobby Flay Season 1, and today I'm going to be reacting to my appearance on Sous Vide Everything together with GUGA Foods Korean MSG. Before I go on with today's episode, I do want to give a special shout out to my newest sous chef level patrons, DeFreeze, Chuggy Huggy, signed. Guys, thank you so much for your support. You, along with all the patrons, really do make a difference on this channel. And remember, by becoming a patron, you get to take advantage of some awesome perks like early access to new episodes, extended versions of certain episodes, and even patron exclusive content.
This is kimchi, the most iconic Korean food there is. If you ever been to a Korean restaurant, you know exactly what this tastes like.
Good looking
and
kimchi
you guys
there.
requested me to give this a try on some steaks.
Just an FYI, for like 90% of these shots with the hands in it are actually my hands. GUGA Studio is just super decked out and cool. I'll throw up some B-roll of some behind the scenes footage I took. But yeah, just an absolute dream come true. A lot of you have been watching from the very early days. A lot of you have been watching since I first started reacting to GUGA. So to come full circle, literally, where I started reacting to him, got onto his channel, now reacting to the video that I'm featured in, very meta. But I guess that's how this channel kind of started, no?
But thankfully, I have Chef Brian to give me a hand.
Yeah. I didn't know that this particular scene was going to be featured in the video. This is after the steaks have been sous vide and ready to grill it. And I saw that flamethrower gun and I went straight for it. I was just like, oh my God, this is the flamethrower. And I was having such a blast, as you can clearly tell.
So let's begin. Everything starts off with this, napa cabbage.
Yes.
And to break it, there's a very specific technique. First, cut it in half and then break it apart just like...
Oh man, we're only 23 seconds into the video. You see this? I always wear a watch. Always. I always have a watch on. And he made me take it off for filming this. So there's that imprint on my wrist, which I thought was kind of funny. So here we're making something called pogi kimchi, which is whole Napa cabbage kimchi, essentially. For those of you who don't know, kimchi is essentially a word for pickle in Korean, so you can make a kimchi pretty much out of everything. There are many types of kimchi. This is obviously the most famous one using Napa cabbage.
Just like this. Then repeat the process once again to quarter it. Now into a bowl it goes because we gotta salt every single leaf individually. Chef Brian also likes to make a brine. That's just a mixture of salt and water. Once that's done, go ahead and add it to the cabbage. As now we want to let that soak in overnight. The next ingredient to use is sweet rice flour. So into a bowl we started boiling some water. Then added that right in. You see, we're trying to make a slurry just like you do it with cornstarch. As soon as it comes to a boil, it will thicken up on you real quick. Now into a blender we throw in some onions, followed by ginger, garlic, the rice paste we just made, and a little bit of water. Now blend everything on high until it becomes a paste.
Yeah, so those are again my big hands, and you know what? I didn't realize how like big and chunky my hands were. I mean, I'm a big and chunky, fluffy guy, right? But it wasn't until this video, I was like, oh man, I got fat hands.
And add the remaining rice paste into the bowl, plus the one we just made, 1 tablespoon of baby brine shrimp, some fish salt.
Oh, the baby brine shrimp I had to bring over from New York. You know, there's a lot of even that sweet rice flour that you saw in there. There was a couple of things I had to bring over from New York because you just can't get it in Florida. I bubble wrapped it, then plastic wrapped it, then bubble wrapped it again because the last thing I wanted that to do was leak in my luggage. Even if you wash your clothes, if they were to get soaked by this juice, no matter how many times you wash it, you just will not get rid of that smell. It is like forever embedded in that clothing. I'm glad to say that I wrapped it well because it did in fact leak, but it never leaked out of the packaging I put in there. But yeah, the sweet rice flour, the baby shrimp, I think I brought gochujang, which I think he ended up having actually. But yeah, there was a lot of planning and coordination. So packed everything up the night before, left it in my fridge, and right before we got onto the cab, I put everything into my luggage, which was kind of moot because my flight got delayed by 4 hours. And, you know, by the time we got to GUGA's was a full day had passed. So
good amount of gochujang, which is Korean chili flakes, followed by green onions, carrots, and Korean radish. Now mix everything.
Yeah, so right here at this part, just so you know, like I made a very simplified version of kimchi. At this part, you can put Asian pear, you can put you know, certain root vegetables in there as well. You can really kind of go nuts with this aspect of it. But again, I just kept it simple. I felt like these were some really basic ingredients that, you know, add to this sauce, but also color too, right? You have the red, you have the orange, you have the green, you have the whites. So lots of color variation, but again, it's not limited to this set of ingredients. I mean, there was even one person in the comments that was mentioning like, there's no carrot in this. Well, you know, my mama puts fucking carrot in it, so fuck you. You mix this,
ingredients and you should be left with
as it sits here, moisture will slowly get extracted out of the veggies, and then the volume of the paste will actually increase significantly.
The base of kimchi. We gotta let it sit for a little while. It's not ready yet. However, by this time our cabbage is. And here's how you can tell. If you can bend it without breaking, you know it's ready.
Yep.
As
Those
now
are my
the next
fat
thing to do
hands
is
again.
to go ahead and add that paste to every single leaf of the
this part here. This exact part, I remember filming it because I'm even getting a little emotional now. So we filmed this on a Tuesday. My grandmother passed away that past Friday. She had been sick for a very long time. And, you know, not just sick, but, you know, she was 91 years old. You know, so she lived a great life. She was very much loved, and we all saw it coming. You know, obviously, like, it still sucks losing a loved one, but yeah, she passed away days before I was due to fly out. And I remember at this exact moment, I was starting to get a little emotional. No one saw it. Oh, maybe they did. I know GUGA probably did. But yeah, it was great to be here when I was going through this. I think it really helped a lot. GUGA and his team are just amazing, amazing people. They're so nice and generous and gracious and humble. And having that energy, you know, being surrounded by that energy rather was really what I needed. You know, I like to work, and you know, this was work for GUGA, and it was fun work, don't get me wrong. It was an absolute dream come true to work with GUGA, but it was nice to have this distraction that wasn't just a distraction, but a distraction with a lot of positive energy. So I will forever be grateful to GUGA.
You want to be generous with it, but most importantly, ensure that every single one of these leaves are fully covered. And in the end, it should look something like this. Then you want to tuck up the tip just like a baby, and into a container it goes to ferment.
Yeah, so that container is called an ongi, which is a clay pot, and traditionally you will bury it under the ground and let it ferment. I had to bring this ongi over from New York as well, and that's a tiny ongi. These ongis get gigantic. Like, I remember as a kid, I'll see if I can find a picture. I think my grandmother's in that picture where, no, it wasn't an ongi. No, I'm remembering wrong. It was just a big vase. Regardless, as like a 5-year-old kid, I was able to fit in this fucking ongi. That's how big these things get. But yeah, these clay pots are like the container of choice for fermenting kimchi, hands down, and it's always preferred to bury it underground. A lot of people don't have access to backyards in Korea, especially in the big cities where everyone lives in apartments, so they'll have dedicated fridges to try to best replicate the holding temperature that's best suited for kimchi. A little fun fact for you.
A time-consuming process. Most people will never make kimchi on their life. If you have the chance, I highly recommend doing it once. And after fermenting the kimchi for quite a while, it is now time to put it to good use. And for that, I have 3 beautiful steaks. As you can see, they are 1.5 inches thick. They also have great marbling, and exactly what I look for whenever I'm buying steaks. The first thing to do is to go ahead and get them seasoned. First, I went with a good amount of salt, followed by freshly ground black pepper and garlic.
This line, right? Salt, freshly ground black pepper, and garlic powder. I mean, that's the GUGA line, right? And it was, I wasn't there for the voiceover, but to watch him film this and in my head have that voice in there was just kind of surreal.
Not only did I make sure to season both sides, but also the edges.
That's Guga's hands.
Is going to be
Guga and I both have big palms and fat hands and ball heads.
The second one, I'm going to be adding the kimchi.
There we go.
And hopefully
that
it
kimchi,
is going
baby.
to be a lot better than a regular steak. The third one, on the other hand, we're going to be making a kimchi compound butter. So after throwing everything into the bag, I want to have vacuum seal them. They are now ready for sous vide. Talking about that, I'll be cooking all of them in the same container at 135 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. And I cannot wait to find out how they're going to taste. As that was happening...
So the compound butter, he didn't really show the making of it. We just pulled out the butter early in the day, let it get to room temp, and he just pulsed it very roughly in a food processor. And you know, he purposely kept it just very rustic, and he purposely didn't blend it super evenly, you know, for that color contrast. And I think it looked pretty cool. I would have blended it a little bit more and had it a bit more homogenized, I guess you could say. Yeah, I mean, it tasted fucking delicious, so it didn't really matter. I don't think blending it perfectly, maybe visually would have looked more even, but it's fine. Here's my Korean potato salad that's very Hawaiian inspired. You know, I know people, I'm surprised people didn't mention it too much in the comments, like, oh, like that's totally a Hawaiian inspired thing with the pineapple and the Spam. I'm looking at it now, it looks like a corn dog with a lot of dressing on it now that I'm looking. But listen, Spam is a huge part of Korean culture, especially with the USGI presence. You know, Spam is like this very loved protein out there, and I grew up eating it. I mean, there's absolutely pineapple in Korea, but the point I'm making is I put in the pineapple more as an homage to my mom, because that's the secret ingredient to her bulgogi recipe, and that's the bulgogi recipe I used to beat Bobby Flay. I've sold countless mission sandwiches with that recipe, and used it in dishes in all restaurants that I've been in. But then, like, I came up with the dish, and I was like, oh, this is very Hawaiian. So that it wasn't intentional. Not that it, you know, not a knock on Hawaii, but what makes this a Korean style potato salad
went ahead and made us an incredible Korean.
So if you take a little closer look, you'll see that it's almost like a very coarse smashed potato, right? And I'm comparing this to like like an American style potato salad or a German style potato salad, which, you know, obviously there are slight variations, but when I think of those potato salads, I would say I feel like visually the potatoes are left a bit more whole. Obviously, when you mix it, there's going to be some creaming to it, especially for a German style potato salad. Although, no, that's not true. There are German style potato salads where it's not very creamy at all. But let me know in the comments below. And while you're letting me know in the comments below, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And if you're not already, subscribe, because it's a little thing for you, but does great things for the channel. But yeah, with Korean potato salads, it's, like I said, it's borderline mashed potatoes. So to me, that's one of the main distinctive things about Korean style potato salad.
Now I'll be honest with you, this is incredible. It is a Chef Brian special potato salad. Now to make it, it takes quite a bit of ingredients, however. Oh boy, is it worth it. And here's how it's done. The first thing to do is to go ahead and cook some Spam. Notice that he cut it in nice small cubes. The important thing is to get a nice crust on only one side, because once it's done, it's now ready.
Yeah, I wanted a little bit of texture contrast, and that was the intention going into it, but when I look back on it, I wish I seared it on all sides personally. It still tasted freaking delicious, but I do wish I seared all sides a bit more.
He wanted some extra flavor, and for that he went ahead and smoked the pineapple. As that was smoking, he went ahead and cooked some potatoes. They're just cut in quarters and they are nice and soft. So with the potatoes, he threw in some white onions, followed by garlic, green onions, the smoked pineapple, those perfectly little diced Spam that we just made, some gochugaru, a good amount of Kewpie mayo, some sour cream, and salt. Now the only thing left to do is to go ahead and mix all of these ingredients together, and as he's doing so, he's also smashing the potato by hand. As in the end, he put it in a nice presentation plate, because the only thing left to do is to go ahead and add some Korean barbecue sauce right on top of it. And to make the sauce, it is super simple.
How vain is that?
We first started with ketchup,
food.
followed by brown sugar, apple juice, gochujang, molasses.
They made the correction, it was pineapple juice.
Rice vinegar, fish sauce, mustard powder, smoked paprika, garlic powder, onion powder.
This sauce came out pretty banging. I've made variations of this sauce and used it on wings, but yeah, this particular one, I left the bottle for them. I'm pretty sure it's gone by now, but I left it for the team. And everyone was like kind of going back to it and squirting it on everything.
Let it reduce until it becomes the consistency you're happy with, as the only thing left to do now is to add a little bit of sesame oil. And once you are happy with the consistency, your Korean-style barbecue sauce is done. And I'll tell you one thing, this thing is delicious, and it should be perfect to go along with the salad. And at the same time,
So I did the drizzle on there, and again, like seeing it in a GUGA video, in his style with the panning shots, the close-up, the overhead is just so surreal. You know, I say this every now and then, and I really mean it. Like, I can't promise you'll be successful if you work hard, but I can promise you won't be if you don't try. And, you know, managing this YouTube channel in addition to working, you know, full-time at Mission Sandwich Social was damn near killed me. It was driving me nuts at one point, but it paid off, man. It paid off, and here's the proof. It's just, yeah, very proud moment for me. Definitely a career highlight. I mean, I would put it up there with beating Bobby Flay, becoming the chef at Beauty and Essex, even meeting Uncle Roger. Like, this is as far as my career highlights go. And meeting Duff McKagan of Guns N' Roses once at Beauty and Essex, that was pretty fucking rad. Oh, and Tony Hawk, that was rad too. That was super cool. I played so much Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Because the only thing left we have to do is our compound butter. And this one is super simple.
Yeah,
into the food processor, I threw in some kimchi and blended on high. Then I added butter. Blended once again, threw it in some clinch plastic, rolled the whole thing up. Into the refrigerator you went to solidify. As once
looks like a kimchi turd. It's not pretty.
Compound butter is now done. It does not get any easier than that, friends. Simple and easy kimchi compound butter. Will it be better than the
so fucking good. We'll watch the
kimchi steak. Well, we're about to find out right now, because by this time my steaks were fully cooked. So I opened up the bag, and since the kimchi already did its job, I went ahead and removed it. And take a look at this. Oh man, the looks are not that good. And the main reason is because we need a crust. So I went ahead, pat it dry really good, and even though I did, I know exactly what you're thinking. I know my steaks don't look that good right now, but watch this.
Got the Home Depot music coming on, baby. Now, this scene, GUGA gave me I grabbed the torch gun from him and, you know, was posing with it. But he asked if I wanted to sear off the steaks, and I actually refused because I just really wanted a GUGA cooked steak, and that's exactly what I got. So I was like, no, you're searing this, please. Like, just, I don't want to cook any steak. It's all you. Any steak that's happening today, you're cooking it, GUGA. Oh, yes, that was the jam right there. The kimchi compound butter. Bomb. So good. So good. I mean, it was just as delicious, if not more, than what you're seeing here in the B-roll.
All right, everybody, here we got our beautiful steaks. Thank you for being here, Chef Brian.
Dude, my pleasure.
Shout out to Leo and Angel.
Man,
2K,
watching you make
everyone
kimchi
else
was incredible.
Making kimchi is something that's truly special to the Korean culture.
Oh, speaking of 2K, so 2K is one of the guys on his team, and GUGA was expecting a lot of packages that day. Like every time a car pulled up, they were like getting things repaired and delivered, and every time a vehicle was pulling up, like, it just so happened I was standing in front of GUGA, and every time a vehicle pulled up, GUGA just yelled on the top of his fucking lungs, 2K! 2K, go get it! 2K! Not in a mean way, just like catch the guy before he leaves. And it just happened like 5-6 times that day. It was right in front of my face and blowing out my eardrums. It was pretty fucking hilarious.
And I say, enough talking, let's eat, yes?
Let's do it.
Somebody's been watching me.
Dork moment.
Let's go
for
right
me.
here. Please dig in. Let's go on the first one right here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yep, control steak was amazing. It's so weird reacting to me. It's so bizarre.
You make sous vide steak, it's gonna be great every single time. I say enough talking, let's go for the second one. As you can see, the second one has to do something special. Please dig in.
I still think about it.
Make sure you got that specialness.
I think we like to say, was it a crumbly crust?
I have no idea what they were referring to. I was just quiet. And yeah, you see how excited? See how excited I was? And like, I was like, oops, like, oh yeah, that's right. You're supposed, you know, they always do that scene where they take the bite together.
Oh, you're already going.
I'm going. I don't know what's taking you guys so damn long. You're holding me back.
Enough talking, let's give it a try. Cheers.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
That is what I like to say. 10 out of 10. We'll highly recommend everybody. Why is this so much better?
Number one, it's got that compound butter, and we cooked it with the torch, so the milk solids are gonna cook. It's gonna give you that nutty flavor. There's also the kimchi within the compound butter that's giving a lot of flavor separation, but it's still working harmoniously.
Yeah.
And some of that fermented funk almost accentuating the steak.
It's a little spicy too. It's not gonna slap you in the face and kill you. It's just amazing.
It was really cool meeting Leo and Angel for the first time too, because I've seen them in so many of GUGA's videos, and I remember walking into the editor's room. The first person I saw was Leo, and I literally, the moment I saw him, was like, oh shit. Leo was like, oh, that's quite a way to meet somebody. And also, I should mention, he actually at one point, I don't have it on tape because I think my camera ran out of battery, but there was one point where he was like, oh, hey, by the way, I have a bone to pick with you. You say in all our videos that we put on generic Home Depot music, which is why I put that little line in my video to take a little jab at him. But he was like, but you know, I work really hard. I spend a lot of time finding that music, and you're just calling it Home Depot music.
But I really want to try your side dish because that looks phenomenal. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Ooh, not too bad.
I'm very proud of this potato salad. And I don't know if this episode's going to come out before or after this happens, but I am going to be offering this potato salad and the sandwich I did on my video at Mission Sandwich Social. Again, I don't know when this episode's going to come out, but look forward to that. Or if it already passed and you want to try it, well, let me know in the comments below. Maybe if, let's say, if we hit 5,000 likes, thumbs up, I'll put it back as a special again.
It goes so well with the steak. It brings out the freshness because of that pineapple. I had a lot of potato salad in my life, but I never had a potato salad like that, Chef Brian. That's a 10 out of 10, everybody. You got to give that a go.
I'm absolutely blown away by not only the flavors on here, but also the textures. It's all kind of creamy with the potato salad, but then you have the pineapple in there with a little bit of bite. And when you chew on the pineapple, it releases the pineapple juices, so it adds that normally savory dish. It gives that sweetness throughout that's just on the money. It's
Thanks,
perfect.
Leo.
Pineapple is my mom's secret ingredient for her bulgogi recipe, so this is paying a little homage to her.
Nobody cooks better than Mom.
I'll drink to that.
I was sipping on beers the whole day. I think I killed all their Red Stripe, which I didn't have Red Stripe for years. But yeah, I think I finished all the Red Stripe in that fridge, which, it's not a bad thing. Oh, I should mention, so where my mouse cursor is, I actually made a second side dish. It's called gochuri, which is like a fresh kimchi. So generally at the kimchi making process, there's always odds and ends left over. And you just mix that up and you have fresh kimchi. You eat it right away. I made that. We didn't we filmed tasting it, but we didn't obviously they didn't feature it in the final video. But yeah, pretty good. I added a little more. I think I added a little honey into that and a little extra salt, but that was about it. And I used the leftover red cabbage from my video and I put it into the gochuri as well. So yeah. Now you know.
I personally have never done anything like this before, and I also don't recall seeing anyone do this before.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Kimchi sous vide steak.
Kimchi sous vide steak. Kimchi MSG.
Kimchi MSG sous vide steak.
steak.
That's a long title, everybody. Enough talking, let's give it a go. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
It's a good steak. I do get a little hints of kimchi in there. Just something plays a lot better with the compound butter.
I agree. I like the compound butter better.
I agree with both of you where I think the compound butter was the better steak. This last one that we tried, it's still a nice steak, but I think maybe the kimchi flavors and the beef mixed a little bit too much, and you kind of lose that beefiness that makes a steak so wonderful.
And guys, if you don't know Chef Brian, go check out his channel. It will be on the...
If you don't know Chef Brian, go check out my channel.
He's not only funny, but he also gives the right insight on every review you make.
I try.
Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously, I had a blast being in it, reliving some memories with you guys, giving you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes. Again, shout out to GUGA, shout out to his entire team. They were, again, some of the best people I've ever worked with in any type of kitchen, period. And I've been doing this professionally for nearly 2 decades. So that's really saying something. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. And also, before I go, I just do want to mention that my band Lost Becomes will be playing a couple dates in April, one in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and one on Long Island, New York. So if you're around, if you want to hang, come check us out, and I would love to meet you. And finally, don't be afraid to fail, cause it can only make you stronger. And with that said, I'm Chef Brian Tsao, not your typical chef, and I'll see you really soon.